This is what the Lord told me about prodigal son. Let me just quickly share with you. The Lord said, the prodigal son. In fact, I was thinking that when God was speaking to me about prodigal son this morning, maybe he wants me to talk about it in the mentorship class. The prodigal son approached the father and said, give me what belongs to me, what is my entitlement, what is my inheritance. Now, that request was not wrong. I need you to know. So when he collected all that the father will give to him, he squandered all those resources until there was no man to help him. And that's the most dangerous thing, if there's a thing like that. When you are left with no man in your life to help you, it is hell on earth. And it does not matter what your challenges is. If you still have one person, you are fine. But when it comes to a time when there is no man, and when there was no man to help, he now said, look, how many higher servants are in my father's house? How many people there? I will go back to my father and let him make me one of his servants. And the Lord told me, he said, most times, the reason blessing don't last in the hands of men, he was telling me this morning, is because they want God to give them before God makes them. Do you understand that analysis? He went to the father to ask, give me. And when he finished squandering the whole thing, then he went back and said, I want my father to make me. Do you understand it? Now, the right thing that God was ministering to me this morning is that the first thing for that brother was it should have been made before asking to be given. Giving is not the problem. The reason why people get healing and it does not last is because they were not made. He said, give me my own portion, and it was given to him. Then he went and squandered it. Then after squandering it, there was nothing left. Then he said, look, let me return to my father. Let my father make me one of his servants. Now, the starting point for a lasting blessing is God making you first. But people most times are not patient to be made. The process of making you what God wants you to be, it is to qualify what he wants to give you so that the things he will give you will last in your hand. So in the process, I've seen people who, in the process of God making them, they feel the process is too tough. They are not comfortable with it. And so they abort the process making of God. They walk out of the will of God. They walk out of the process. They shortcut and say, no, I'm tired. If this is what is the process, no. Because I'm serving God and I can't eat again. Because I choose not to lie, I can't get money. No. And so they say, let me go back to the world. I know how I get money before I got born again. I know how many men look for me before I got born again. I know how I cheat before I got born again. But this process is not. But the thing is this. In one of the characteristics of what God gives you, I'll teach on that maybe in one of the mentorship class. Because anything that God gives you must be more than what you can imagine. And if it is lesser than what you can imagine, it is not God. Anything that God gives you, your effort cannot achieve. If your effort can achieve, it is not God. But that's for another day. So, most times God will show you, this is what I want to give you. And you are excited. You mean you want me to be the prime minister in Egypt? This is lovely. You mean the sun, the moon, the star will bow to me? This is what you want to give me? God said, yes. Now, have you seen what I want to give you? He said, yes. Then let me make you for that thing. Then betrayers. Somebody lied on you. Something you didn't do, they say you did. What you didn't say, they say you say. What you were. And the betrayers. Things are not working. You are now owing. These are not working. The one that the sun, the moon, and the star will bow for is the one now that is being lied against. It's not the one. Now, what he was shown, what I want to give you, is what God is now making him for. So by the time he was given that thing, he's been made for it. I wish you understand what I'm trying to say. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Now, but the problem now is that when God shows you what he wants to give, you are not patient to be made into it. The process of being made can be as simple as following somebody. And you don't enjoy his leadership. Why do I follow Brother Luther when I can follow Brother Barnabas? And God said, no, stay with Baluta. You're just not comfortable. You're just not, things like that. One of the key to your destiny is instruction. I will talk about it in mentorship next week Sunday. There are times that the only instruction you will have in your entire life can be true. You need to know what instruction is for your life. That when you stay in it, doors open unto you. And God may not give you another one until 50 years after. But you can be doing every other thing everybody is doing and not walk in God's counsel. And this person is selling clothes, is making money. You went to sell clothes, you were in debt. This person sold water and is building house. You went to sell water and you couldn't pay the person. Because the instruction for your own life is different from the instruction for another person's life. When you locate your instruction and you stay, things follows into it. Things begin to fall in place. There will be opposition, there will be whatever. So for the prodigal son, what the Lord was ministering to me this morning is that most believers, they want God to give them and they don't want to be made. For that prodigal son, he said, give me what belongs to me. And when the thing God gave him, I said, okay, you want the things that belong to you, take. But he couldn't manage it because what we manage, what God gives to him, was not in him. So he said, look, since everything I've been given is lost, let me go back so that I can be made. And say, will you make me one of my servants? That's, the Lord told me, that is the first thing that should have been done. He should seek to be made first before he now asks to be given. Now, what happens to his elder brother? The elder brother said, look, my brother who is prodigal, he has gone, he did this one, and yet you are killing something for him. What happens to me that I've been here? Number one, that elder brother did not ask for what is this. But the father said, look, everything I have is yours. That was his own gain. In the brother's own, the brother has taken his lot and gone. Because he collected, he received before being made. Now, after squandering all that is his own, he's coming back to be made. So the father said, look, you are the eldest son. We didn't kill a cow for you. We didn't kill, your prodigal son went and came back and we celebrated him. Because that is all that is left. He has taken his inheritance. He said, but for you, everything that is mine and yours is here. So the elder brother who did not go on that scandalous life has the inheritance of the father. Do you understand it? That what the father owns belongs. Did you get it from me, John? Eh? Okay, it's Luke 15. I was saying John 15. I know it's one of the 15. Luke 15, not John 15. Thank you. I know it's 15. I know something 15, actually. So, okay, from verse 11. Had two sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of good that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger sons gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with rituals living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and it began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his field to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the hawks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father. I will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. I am not worthy to be called thy son. Make me. Verse 19. Make me. Now, he should have sought to be made first before asking to be given. Holy Spirit, help me to communicate these truths. I want you to understand this. The first desire that you should have before you ask God to give is the desire to be made. How do you get made? Follow me and I will make you. The way to be made is in following. Most people want to come into leadership without learning followership. You can't be an effective leader if you don't know how to follow. The first step to be a good leader is to be a good follower. And when you fail in followership, you will fail in leadership. The true test that you're going to stand out in leadership is that you are being a good follower. And a good follower is not in the context of you following the person you choose to follow. It is following the person God has chosen for you to follow, even when you don't like the person. And when you now fail in that followership, you are going to automatically fail in leadership. It's not a course, it's a law. So your desire, because one thing you would like to get from God, I want God to give me this. God is, I don't know how to explain. I know there was a time I was with my cousin in Jos. And apologies to tell you this truth. The housemaid will serve us food without meat. Now you can understand it and say, well, the economy, those kind of things. For a poor person. This is not a poor man. When the housemaid serve us with food without meat, in serving us, we'll be in the kitchen. In serving us food without meat, to take the soup is going to be difficult because meat fill the entire soup. So to even put out soup without meat is a difficult thing. She will be struggling to make sure the meat is pushed aside because every spoon there's meat. Now she will struggle and push away all the meat and put the stew for us. And when we couldn't complain, we're younger. I know they won't try that with me now. I will bless the food and tell them to take it away. But that time, we couldn't do anything, so we were eating and eating. But do you know the worst part of it? There was a time they opened the freezer and there was, this rice bag, this, they call it sack, this, Yoruba call it shaka or something. This bag where you 50 g of rice, that is where they put different meats. And yet, we're eating without meat. And at a time, they opened the freezer and the meat were spoiled. And they needed to go throw them away. That's the meat we should eat. And when my older cousin came, I said, look, we eat here without meat. And she went to the husband. I said, how will you serve my brother without meat? He said, that is the instruction I was given. Now, they threw away those meats at a later time because it was now too wasted. It was now smelling. I think there was no light and they didn't take care of it. And it was not even cooked or something like that. No, maybe it was cooked. I think it was cooked. They tied it in two Ghana must be two sacks like that. And they were bringing it out, trying to wash it and cleanse it, and it was smelling, and so they needed to throw it away. Now, there is too much of good thing with God that not giving you will waste. He must give you. But he can't give you until you are made. Once you are made, giving you is easy. But the thing is that we want to be given, we don't want to be made. Because what makes us is a process. And it's a process of following. And when you follow God, you don't seek to understand every move. Because he won't communicate every move. So he say, fast tomorrow. You say, why do you say I should fast? You can't follow God that way. If you are the one who asks questions all the time, you won't follow God to be made. So tomorrow morning, all the money you can go and give Baba is Sunday. You say, why? You won't work with God that way. You must be willing to follow him without understanding it. You dress to travel and he said, don't go. And those who went, they went and came back. There's no accident on the road. They say, hey, so why did he say I should not go? After all, there's no. You don't need to understand. You just need to know who is talking. Once I know it is the Lord who said I should give, why did you say I should give? You know that I have not paid school fees. This is not fair. You can't be made. So in being made, you must be willing to follow him wholeheartedly. You are not the one who negotiates with him and say, okay, they say they want to buy drum sets. Let me give them 20,000. It's not you. Lord, what is my own lot in this drum set? He said, okay, in that drum set, go and give 100,000. He said, you know, Lord, that's my entire salary. You say, yes, I know. How do I now feed? Go and give. You don't need to know how to you feed. But you know, your own dealing with God now is this one that you calculate what to do with God, what not to do with God. if you take bike 50 naira and you had 200 naira, the man gave you 150 change. Then you say, well, let me give another 50 naira so I can return with 550 naira. You know, that's your own thinking. You are not made that way. In being made, you are following him with no, you just need to know who you are following. You don't need him to understand. Say, go to a land that will show you. He said, how can I go to a place you will show me? Tell me the place so that when my people ask me where I'm going, I tell you. You can't be made that way. I should go to a place where you should, okay. Where is the place? Just be going. This is bush, be going. And I think I've told you there was a time I was invited for a retreat, and those guys are crazy guys. They wanted to do a retreat. They are not going to do it in a hotel. They went inside the bush as if they are doing boss guard meeting. And they said, man of God, you are going to minister with us for 2 days. And I was excited. I was thinking we're going to chill in the AC and the rest. So they gave me a description. In that place, network is bad. You can't even reach them. It's inside bush. They put lantern everywhere. Which kind of men are these? So when I got to a place, I didn't know the place again. And I was calling, I couldn't reach them. So I said, Lord, you know all things. Show me the way. So the Lord said, okay, turn right. So I turned. He said, so now turn left. So there was one building, so I turned. He said, walk beside it. So as I was walking beside the house, I was going to a thick forest. So I said, no, this is not good. So I turned back. So I located where I came from at that junction. So I prayed again, Lord, show me the way. Just guide me, I will follow. Then he told me go. So then he brought me to the same point. He said, continue. Inside that bush? I said, no, this can't be God. So I turned back. I came back to the junction. So I said, if I don't get them today, I go back to where I'm coming from. This can't be God because it is bush. It can't be God. How can God be telling me to go inside the bush? So eventually one of them got me. I said, where are you? I said, they said, just wait there, we'll pick you. So they came, and exactly the way God said I should walk. We walk, we turn right, we turn left beside the building, and we're going inside. I said, is this the place? He said, yes. I said, the Lord told me, but it doesn't look like the way to me. And we walk inside the bush like that. Then I now saw that we're inside the camp. In the bush. They don't want anybody to sleep. They want us to do a vigil. You understand? But then God was showing me the way, but my mind cannot comprehend that. This can't be, a retreat can't hold here. Do you understand? So in following God and following him, there are times you won't even understand. But provided he is the Lord, then you are following. So your desire from the prodigal son is this. Choose to be made. And how do you get made? Just follow. Follow me and I will make you. Once you are made, you will be given. Don't seek to give, to receive without being made. It won't last. If you are not made a wife, because there's a difference between a woman and a wife. If you are not made from a woman to a wife, and you go and get an husband, the husband won't last. God should make you a wife. Then when you have your husband, it will stay. The same thing with the husband. Don't say you are talking about woman alone. If you are a man and you are not the husband, because there's a man, there's a husband, and you are not a husband, and you go marry, you have gotten something without being made. So that marriage may not last. Because you as the man, you have not been made to be an husband. And yet you have gotten a wife. And because you are not made into a husband, you can't maintain a wife. You can't cultivate a wife. It takes an husband to cultivate a woman. So if a man is not made into a husband and marry a woman or marry a wife, the marriage can't last. Because the man has not been made and yet he has collected. So the thing for me is not even the elder brother who didn't ask. The thing for me is the prodigal son who collected without being made. And after collecting and finished spending, he now said, let me be made. The starting point is, will you be made? Once you are made, you will get. Do you understand this thing? God will give you understanding.